Afternoon, YouTube. Back here with you on this Thursday. As you can see, I have upgraded the breadboarding board, baseboard, whatever you want to call it, to include both this one and that one. This is the original one. It took me a little bit to get that double-sided tape up, but I managed to get it up in fairly much one piece. And it came off fairly easy. So very good. I like that. That is good. That will I will be able to increase my circuit size if need be, and I think that's gonna do it for that. So what else am I working on? Alright, we're back once more. I have a question from our good buddy Wally, who resides a bit north of here. He wanted to know, how do you know where to connect the wires to? Well, that's a good question. And I probably should have covered that when I started this. But you know how you really think, you think, well, everybody knows how to do this and how to do that. And when, you know, really they don't. But like I said, it's a good thing to learn. So what I'm going to do here, and I just now found I had another capacitor on there. Okay. What you see before you is the breadboard. Now, parts of the breadboard are pretty standard among breadboards. They are, let's see, how do I say this? They're, whoops, sorry. Let me get my pointer. I think I'm using a different pointer now. I think I'm going to use the picks that Stan sent me. It's got a nice edge to it. These things up here are called the power rails. Now, as long as this line, this red line you see here, or the blue line above it, is solid, these are all connected. In other words, this row where the red is plugged into is all connected. This row above it is also all connected all the way down through there. They are not connected to each other. Okay, these are meant for positive and negative on your power rails. So when you plug in something that you need some power, you can just plug it in up here, and you don't have to worry about where it's getting power, things like that. Now, when there's a separation between here and here, like this, that means there's no connection between these two here. So that's where the power comes in. Now you have power rail on the top, and you have a power on the bottom. What I like to do is put the negative on the bottom and put the positive on the top. That's just me. It's not necessary. Now the other little pinholes there that you see, each line goes down through there. Each one of those are connected. Okay? Now, in this case, there's a valley here, if you want to call it that. That separates these two. So, this is not connected to this. These are separate. Okay? Each one of these is separate. This is not connected to this. This is not connected to this. These are just connected together. These 5 here, whatever it is, I can't even count. Yeah, 5. 5 pins. So that when you connect, now when I had my my little timer in there, I had it across this valley because that way I can take, you know, it's 4 pins on each side. So say I had it from 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I have these 4. I can then connect things to this side, you know, for the pins that connect to that, and also here. I'm going to show you a picture of the underneath side of this, so maybe you'll get a better idea how this is connected. And you'll see there are basically metal strips under here, each one of these, and that show you how they are connected. Now that, like I said, is pretty much how it's done. If you want to, now if I wanted to say make this whole rail here on the top, red rail positive, you know, I could take and do this, and there. Now that whole rail up here on top, that red, is one continuous thing. If I take it out, it just separates right there at the separation. So that should explain. Now there's numbers to help you keep track: 0, 5, 10, 15. These are pin numbers. So this, if you take this first one 0, and here's 5, here's 10, you know, it goes on up and all the way up to 60 on the other end. Now, like I said, for mine, I have put the, slide this down a little bit, put the other one in. So when I want to basically connect these two together, I would have to do this. And then the reds on both of those are connected together, at least up to this point, I should say. Up to this point here. So that would be another break in the continuity of it. So that gives you an idea of how these are connected, I hope. And I want to prove it to you exactly what we're talking about. Let me bring you back down to the other. If I can get it down now all the way. There we go. Now I'm going to show you that there is no connection between here and there. And to do that, I've got my multimeter with some clip leads, and we'll clip it on here. I can get my thing to work. There we go. And now these are connected. Each wire is connected to the ohmmeter, and it's set on continuity test. So right now, as you can see, let me get these back in the picture here. Those two are connected, and there's no alarm going off. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is take this and move it over here. Hey, there's a connection. What do you know? That's what you get when you jumper these is this. Okay. Now, like I said, these are the same way. All these here are just, each line is only connected to itself. They're not connected to any of the other ones here. So this is how you do these breadboards. It's pretty simple. As they say, not rocket science. But I just thought, you know, it'd be helpful. So basically, when you hook up these little jumpers between here and there, you're hooking up these 2 points. So right there I have, okay, I have, where'd my little pointer go? Oh, there it is. I have this line hooked to this line. So these two are the same now. Okay? Those two right there are the same potential, is basically what you want to say. They are at the same level. In other words, they're just like I say, a solid wire is connecting them up together. So that's how you make your circuits, and you basically put your active component in there, and you start building around that. And before you know it, you've got a circuit, and you got to remember to hook it up right, and not hook it up backwards. That's what you need to do. So, like I said, that's pretty much a look at the breadboarding, how it works. The power supply that I use on this is the one I built, and I built it just for this purpose. I use the that's how I use the power for the power. It's good for most little circuits like that. I'm sure there's going to be some that will overpower it and not, you know, it won't work with. But I have more power supplies, bigger power supplies to work with if I need to. But for the most part, you know, that's how you do it. And I hope that answers your question, Wally. I am going to try to put up a link to probably a better explanation of it. And you know, there's all kinds of explanations on the internet. If you just look up how to use a breadboard, you'll come up with a bunch of them. But it's pretty simple object, you know what I'm saying. And I didn't know if I said this, but these rails, like this top rail and the bottom rail, they unattach from the center rail or center section. I know that because when I had to move the other one to get it, I had to take it apart in pieces to get it off. So, but anyway, those work out pretty good. Now I have plans, thinking about adding a RF amp to the little 555 transmitter to see if we can increase its range a little bit. Robert's given me an idea on how to do that, and I always appreciate Robert's suggestions. He's a very knowledgeable guy in electronics, and the thing that Robert has is experience, and that goes a long way in knowing how things go, or how they're wired and how they operate, things like that. And so me, although I'm trained in electronics, I don't have a lot of experience in electronics. I had basically, I worked on TVs for a couple of years. Of course, I had my formal training for a couple of years, so at the most I have 4 years of any kind of practical working on circuits to work with, to go on. Basically, after I went in, I did the electronics thing, I went into computers, and I have a few years of experience at that. And like I said, the electronics thing has always been mostly just a hobby for me. And like I said, it's just a fun hobby. I like messing with stuff like this. I like to see what happens when you fry a chip. we didn't get to see any magic smoke, but I'm pretty sure there was some in there that got out. But anyway, I think that's going to do this. Like I said, I didn't really want to make it this long, but I did. So let me get this all wrapped up, and like I said, we will. You guys have a. I keep wanting to go back to the other camera. I've got to get out of that habit because I make my videos way too long as it is, and just adding more footage to it doesn't help. So I'm going to try to keep doing this to where I don't do that, and hopefully this part will get smaller too as I go along. My videos are too long, but you know, I'm still learning this craft too. So you guys have a wonderful day. It's a little bit overcast here in Seymour today, and I think there's supposed to be rain later on, so we'll see about that. But you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see ya.